Okay, so construction of absolutely everything is done. I've begun to staff the radio station with more people. You might need more than this, but as these get moved into and everything, it should be better. Population is growing. I had to take a little bit more money, but I have a feeling we have it more under control this time. You know, because we have actual industries doing this. People are coming to the distillery, going to the bus stop, coming to the distillery, going to the clothing factories. The next step I feel like would be to come here and start a rail, but because it's hard to say, because I want to have money first before we really do that. But the thing, because buying the rail builder, the track builder, is, well, no, it wouldn't bankrupt me, but it basically would. So I feel like I need to wait for sure. Especially considering that would take me under 10,000, and a single truckload of steel would just demolish me. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit. I'm doing some advertising right now, so that should help us with tourists a little bit. I've been doing some more research. I started nuclear a little bit, but the next step really would be going to get the actually, we can maybe plan it, but it would have to be around this. It's somewhere around here, yeah. There we go. 48. Is there anything higher than 48? I guess not. Okay. 48. We can get a 30 right next to it. That's not fantastic. We'll see. Is there anything over here? So, I mean, it was crafted by the legendary B-Ball Joe himself, so... Or at least I believe it was, so... You can imagine it's gonna be hard as fuck. Okay. Let's just say we put down the refinery, which we're not going to be doing. Let's just say we'll do this. Okay. We're going to put down it. Okay. So now we know what's in and what's out. So in other words, we need to, like that. That would be fantastic if we could line everything up. Come on. There we go. Okay. We need power and everything out here for the refinery, which I'm not happy about. I'm definitely not happy about that. However, we can support it. But it's not the support that that's upsetting me. It's everything else. You gotta get the road out here, which I may just gravel to begin with. Okay, this is the... Actually, we'd do better if we just did like a complete, like straightest line possible. I mean, it's 100 grand for the road alone, you know what I mean? So we're not... This isn't fantastic at all. 150, actually. And... Can't forget you. So we're not doing this anytime soon. However, we do get to plan it, which is, yay. Make this a little bit easier and just attach that to the same dirt path. Because I don't want to pave a little thing that's 5 meters long. And you know what, there's water right here, so let's see what the, let's see what the surface water is. Wait a second. Oh, okay, here we go, sorry. 77. See, that's not great. What would a well be? Sorry, I'm a bit stupid. Okay. It'd be much easier. And it'd be right there. Do that, have a water treatment next to it. I'm not sure if you need a pump, but we might as well just say we need a pump. Go from U to U. You get to go to a water reservoir. Should have built an actual pump for this. Not two small ones, but that's okay. And guess what? How long did that take? Not even a minute, dude. I've got this down pat. I am like a legend at this. You do it a million times, it's just... Oh, it's just so easy. It's amazing. Okay. So if we're not building U, then we can just pump the sewage out to U then, right? I would imagine. Let's make this a little bit more central so it's less of a heartache. Okay, discharge. I'll have to say I'm not going to be happy about this because I know I'm going to have to do another construction office just to get these things out here in the first place. Oh shit. No, you don't need power, you don't need power, okay. That's not heating, okay, research. That's not heating though, so... Well, I'm not sure if it actually does need heating. That's a great question. Did I set up? No, I didn't. I would be using my final connection here. Which isn't a joke, by the way, it actually is my last connection. So we're gonna have to research that power thing. The renewable power and like power plants and shit. We're gonna have to do that. And we're going to need to get some rail going, might as well do that too. I'm gonna say concrete because I want to get, this is what I did with my last one, I'll just do that. We're going to need a train diesel station, which everybody takes advantage of, which I understand a little bit better now. We'll do the small one. I know it needs to be powered, so guess what? You get to go up here somewhere. Out of the way. Okay. I was gonna pave that at some point. I still might. Okay. Of course we have to go around you. So notice how I'm not building anything because we're not at a great profit margin right now. I want to get this debt down before we continue, just like how we did with this. So continue how we're going right now, steady, you know, steady. Damn, 300 tourists. We're gonna go steady. We gotta connect this. So what I'm not thrilled about is we gotta cross this road somehow. Boy, I did not think this through. Okay. Guess... I'll wait. It's okay. But let's see what we can do. Can we potentially... No, we can't. Too close to intersection. Okay, we're gonna wait for this truck, and we're gonna say fuck you. Bye-bye. We're gonna say bye-bye. We're gonna put you somewhere else. Keep doing this. It's a terrible habit. And look, that's perfect. I keep placing it further and further away from the farm, which I really shouldn't be doing, but I need the space. I think it would be more prudent to... Let's try and get this. There's no good crossing point. There we go. Yes? That works. However, I can only do one line. Hold on. No, because that's an intersection, damn it. I count myself lucky that I was able to cross it all. So that helps us a little bit. Let's see. I'll leave that the way it is because I know I have to buy this. I've got to send somebody from the road depot. Now look at that response time. The snow hasn't even stopped falling and we're basically halfway through with the roads. That's great. We got the main routes and everything. Those snowplows were a great investment. And we'll be good. I know unloading in this thing is gonna fucking bankrupt me. However, people are starting to move in here, which is great. Actually, I think a better plan would be to just have this done, then get the better track builder. That way, more construction will be faster. Once we get up to around here, we'll be okay. Right now, though, I want to stay where we're at, keep a steady sort of thing going on. So I kind of just hooked everything up to everything else here, and I just noticed that. So these are actually filling up. I was like, hold on, this is a big one. Why would it be doing that? So that should hopefully take the strain off of this. At least a little bit. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I guess it looks like it is. because everything should be going to this one here that I built specifically for this pond. So it was my mistake, really. I just wasn't paying attention. This is starting to become a problem. I know I could staff more people, but we're going to have to, I would assume, get a big one. Which isn't that much, it's just that it's fucking huge. We're gonna have to put it somewhere. Well, maybe we don't have to, necessarily. So I think I'm starting to figure out the radio station. I've started to put a lot more people towards it, and get these buildings a little bit more, I don't know, lived in, I guess, habitated. Getting, like, imported, like, moving people over. It seems to be working just a little bit. We're gonna see if we can keep this up. How much of a difference that's gonna make. I might have to upgrade the fire department because things keep going on fire. It's probably a good idea to do anyway. So I guess for right now, I highly doubt it's going to be done before the end of October. Yeah, we could wait a little bit, couldn't we? Okay, let's see how it handles. I know for a fact we're not going to be able to do the refinery anytime soon, but we can at least get the tank hooked up because, I mean, that's 1,500 tons of oil that can be ready to go at a moment's notice. So we can get the power hooked up, not the water or the sewage yet. Focused on the debt, the loan, which we are right now. I'm just saying, like, get the bare minimum because the oil, the pump jacks, you can just do that with power. Like, you don't even need, I could just pump the remainder of this to the border, and without the refinery, obviously it's much less profitable, but it's something I could do. Like, it doesn't require workers, that's the entire point of it. But it's much better to just get a rail out here and do it that way, which we're going to do. And then maybe after that we can do nuclear, but I mean, that's the next logical step. Okay, so power this, a couple pipes. It's not really anything huge. No, this I'm not sure about. Oh, and I wanted to get an accounting office. Okay, come on. We're averaging workers here. We might lose 1,000 when this is all said and done. I'm honestly curious. I don't even know how that happened because I've been unloading chemicals to it before, but somehow, somewhere one of the distribution offices just stopped doing that, I guess. Okay, so we're slowing down on sewage exporting, which is great. At some point, this should come down too. I think I know what we gotta do. Okay, we're gonna put this one smack dab. So it's 40 grand for that thing right there. Loyalty seems to be rising just a little bit. Okay, I know what we gotta do. So in other words, that everything might be done before wintertime. Hey, this is still here, that's funny. You know what, honestly, let's see how much. 100 per ton, which is about the same. Let's see, a little bit less than food. And a little bit less than fuel. So it's not bad to do that, which we could do. I would much rather do the refinery. But we could, however, do it. We could still do it. Would I like to do it? No, but we might have to. Well, it's a good thing I did research for a birth rate because that definitely cleaned out just about everybody. Well, a good bit. That wasn't cool, so we really are hanging on by a thread. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that fucking bad. Oh no, never mind. Okay, wow. Yeah, but even still, I'd much rather just do this. I would much rather just do this. Hopefully that's far enough. The first one might not be, but I'm doing the pollution research, so it should be okay. So, a couple years down the line here, I was going to see just how much it is for a tunnel. I know it's expensive. Maybe shouldn't have built this metro, but I was going to build a metro tunnel just to see, and it is very expensive. It can be it's a couple 100,000 basically, but we've had a couple good months, not these recent ones, but um, we've had some pretty good months. I completed groundworks on the refinery. Now it's just the framing itself, and I'm waiting on that right now. I'm getting this down so that, you know, just wash, rinse, repeat, you know what I mean? And we're waiting for summer to kick in so that we can maybe potentially even start work on the refinery. But in the meantime, I've gotten the rail started. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to keep going with the rail, with the track builder as it is. I know I can buy a more expensive one, but with the way things are going right now, I might stick with this one. For a double track, I might get the more expensive one. However, if we're just going to go with a single track, I might just keep that one. But this is a long way. A long way. So, and nothing else here is built yet, so I might just get the better track builder. I know it's expensive. It's very expensive. I also built this, a train depot. Actually, yeah, no, there's no connection, so I can't. Yeah, a better track builder would be 150,000. Well, yeah, that one's 35. This one's 17. This one's 70. This one's the best that I've seen so far. 200,000. So, yeah. For right now, to get the refinery up and running at the most minimum level, I've gotten this train platform here. Oh, that's great. Okay, everybody's waiting there already. I've got that there. I've got lines set up. There was going to be a second one here. I don't know what happened to that. Oh, no, no, no. I know what happened. I'm purposefully not setting it up right now. Simply because, again, double track, so we're gonna have to wait, you know what I mean? Besides, I need to connect it here, and it's just, like, not happening, so this could potentially work. That does work, okay. So we'll do that. That way it's at least connected to something, and we'll let it do its business. Right now, we're going steady. I've been making a little bit extra payments so that we get this down sooner, which is why we're so low as it is. But otherwise, we're making a lot of money with the loyalty going up. I know happiness is going down, but with loyalty going up, productivity goes up as well. So we were up in the 80s for a little bit there. Aside from everything else going on right now, you know, a wave of crime and everything else. But look, I mean, low government loyalty, only 100 out of 6,700, so we're doing pretty good. I think their latest unhappiness is about being too cold, which I also started groundworks on this. Well, I didn't finish it, but, you know, because that's expensive too. We're gonna have to get that done at some point. There's that other heat exchanger over here that we haven't done at some point. I don't know if I gave you an update on this yet, but it is running. It's doing great. The pressure is taken off of that for sure. There's a water truck that keeps coming here and filling up this year, so I'm assuming that it was the old substation that's being filled from here, from in the small one in town. Oh shit. We're gonna suspend that, because I can't afford that right now. I would say with the track builder by itself, with everything the track builder is building right now, that's a good bit of steel going out the window right now. So I'm happy to be just positive above that because I know for sure I sent more workers to this, and we're kind of treading water with that for sure. But there's not going to be much more that's going to need to be done here, so there's that too. It's not really. I'm just. The main point here is to get this single track going, the single line, and then later on I can extend it to doubles. Apart from this is the only major issue. But I could just go around. Not that I necessarily want to go around, or I can build a bridge. You know, there's multiple avenues. Got something on fire. That's fantastic. You're all the way out here. Nobody's gonna reach you in time. That's fantastic. Well, they might. They might. Dow power. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna take a little 10,000 loan. Okay. We're gonna take a quick 20,000, and we're gonna see what happens now. Well, they might get. No, they're gonna get there in time, and I'm sure they're gonna snuff it out because the fire station is actually staffed now. We have enough people to do it without batting an eye. There you go. Fantastic. We're going down from pollution. It should be going back up in a couple months because the fabric factory and clothes factories are actually running not at full capacity, but at half capacity. So there's that. Not to mention the heating plant. We got another wave of crime, but thankfully, we seem to be stable at about 50 to 60 prisoners. So I'm not worried about it. We're good. His loyalty keeps going up. People keep studying, like the level 57. Like, look at that. It keeps going up. So, which is great. So as that goes up, the productivity goes up, and the profit margin also goes up because, guess what? They're happier. So, for example, with the hotels, they could treat more guests at a time. So it's a real win-win scenario. You know what I mean? So as long as I can keep that under 500 rubles a day, that's the optimal goal. I know we can hit 1,000. Actually, we could probably hit like 2,000 a day by now. From the tourism income, they're really 3,000. But we're not counting imports and everything, so it's not. I'm just saying, like, absolute baseline scenario. We could probably stretch ourselves more, but that's not what we want to do. It's what we could have to do, yes, but it's not what we want to do, per se. We just need to get everything going, get the refinery going. That's not going to be this episode, I'll tell you that right now. But, we are ready. The only thing we need right now is money, so maybe another good year. I would say maybe another good year. I could jump the gun, take a loan, and do it. But I don't want to do that. Because I've had my trouble with loans. I want to play it safe. So, however, I don't know. We could just keep doing what we've been doing, pay loans. I mean, pay it down, get another, pay it down. Burr seems to be good over deaths and escapes, so we're good on that. I know we're gonna reach the barrier soon for flats because all of these are almost full. The only ones that aren't are these. And of course, nobody really wants to stay here. They keep moving around and going places because they hate this spot, which is noticed because, you know, you want to get black lung. You know, yeah, fantastic, right? But otherwise, I mean, we're doing great. Not great because it's winter time. It'll be better in summertime when we have more tourists and there's less upkeep and things clogging the border so that the tourist bus gets in and out better. But right now we're sitting at 230 tourists. We're doing pretty good. Research is doing good. for nuclear. We're moving on to nuclear. So like I said, the plan, we keep going, get the refinery, find uranium somewhere, or import it. Expand onto here because that's the original challenge. And that's it. And of course, keep a profit margin all the way, because there's still much to do here. Still a lot to do here. Okay, and let's just make a save here, and we're gonna see what happens. 700,000, or 730 rubles. That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah. And I'm gonna need a, what is it? Oil, fuel. Loading and unloading. Oh man, this is going to suck. Oh, that might actually be the last truckload for the refinery. Now the only thing we really have to worry about is this, because I know this is going to be fucking expensive. 12, 10, 70. It could be worse actually. And with us getting more tourists again, that's great, isn't it? Okay, so we might actually have this done by the end of the year. I'm not sure if we will or not. So we're on our final trip for the oil refinery this year. Really far out here, I've got to add, but we're not doing bad with the money. Okay, so when we're in the thick of it, it's summer, you know, we got crops for the farm and everything, and we have tourism. We have what, I think 300 tourists right now. And by the way, we're not doing great on space, so we might have to add new. Well, I'm not going to anytime soon. I'll just tell you that 7,500 is good enough for me. It's really 7,000 actually, because 300 of them are tourists, but we're doing okay on money. Even counting the giant loan. However, we're basically done with the majority of the construction, and the rest of it isn't even like anything huge, like pipelines or anything. Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. This is the last major part in the station and everything here. And I would also need to buy in an oil, like tankers and everything, so there's that too. But I mean, we got the refinery down, right? So that's the main that was the main objective here. And you know what, honestly, if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna roll back the save, because I made sure to save, right, in case it was a stupid decision in which you can't really recover from entirely. But I don't know, I feel like we might be able to do it, especially considering clothes are still going. We're still getting crops from the farm and everything. Well, we're about done with crops actually, but still, there's still money coming in is my main point. We're still in the green, even considering 980 rubles a day, or basically 30,000, just shy, a month. Last month we basically covered that, and that's with the construction involved. Now, since the construction is still going, we're waiting on manpower right now. Work days, and that's what what the big holdup is here. Work days. It's work days on every single thing, because the main objective was the oil refinery and the pipelines. And I suppose there's this too, but and that's nothing major. 10 tons of steel. That's nothing huge. I do wonder where all the cranes went, because no, I think I know where they went actually. That's a dumb thing to say. I'm pretty sure all the cranes went to the reconstructions, which we really should be doing, but we're catching up now, so it shouldn't be too much longer. Now, I'm gonna make a very conservative. No, I'll say it's a fairly middle ground estimate. We'll say half of this is done for next for for snowfall or the 22nd of November. So almost a month, a little bit over a month. We're going to see what happens. Now, I really don't understand the order here. I know that a lot of times they will focus on one specific thing, even if it's not. There's going to be a priority list here of some sort in the code because there's a crane here. Well, maybe actually that might be it because the crane's there. I've noticed that when a crane goes somewhere, they tend to go towards whatever it is, apart from the reconstruction over there. But for the most part, that's what buses seem to do, and that's pretty smart. But anyway, on occasion, it'll just be a medium priority thing, but everything would just go to that one thing, and it's medium priority. Everything else is not low or high priority. Everything else is medium, so it'll all just go to that. Like, it's not evenly spread like how you think it would be. Sometimes it is, but if you spot it and you know what I'm talking about, you will know what I'm talking about. I've seen it a few times. I don't know if it's a bug. It's probably not a bug. I would assume it's pretty intentional, to be honest. Maybe they just grade buildings in terms of like importance, or oh, this is the closest to completion, so we're gonna do this. I don't really get it. Okay, I just play the game. That's what happens, and I notice things, and I comment on some things. So if you're an avid viewer, you stick around the entire 30, 40, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour if I'm feeling froggy. You're like, oh, hey, yeah, I know, yeah, I that happens to me too. Well, hey, throw it in the comment section, I guess. I know for a fact there's some bugs out there. Either way, I feel like I'm not gonna keep. I see, because I keep meaning to get rid of these, but they really do help when summer comes around. They really do help. Um, just from exports alone, I know at least half of that is closed, and maybe 20% of it is alcohol, because the alcohol only sells 2 grand per truckload. So, and there's not that many truckloads, and I know half of that alcohol is going to the hotels. So that's interesting. The 21 plus without their own flats sorted themselves out. We must have had a couple deaths. Yeah, we're about even on deaths and births. Now that the buses are actually doing things and moving people to other places, everybody else is finally waking up and saying, okay, we're moving on to the next stage, so naturally money is going to suffer. And we're no longer paying it down. We are getting close to the end of construction here because the majority of this stuff is done. Apart from you. Which isn't fantastic, but to be honest, I mean, if the rest of it's done, I'll be happy. I wonder how long it would take for a sewage truck to get out here, though. Like, I know they're not the fastest things, and I also wonder how fast it would actually fill up, too, because that's what, like, 9 or 10 or 12 cubic meters. So I do wonder if you'd even be able to make the trip, but no, it's just a moment of curiosity. I will definitely have this done before everything else is said and done, before we get operational, so to speak. On the bright side, though, it does seem like we have enough construction vehicles to handle every stage of that. So for when the work days come for those like 5 or 6 buildings, we should be able to just do everything. That way we can eventually move on to these, because I know these things need to be done. Some of them are more important than others, and others sometimes don't even matter, but I know for a fact Some buildings' efficiency are affected by it, so it's not great to have things hanging out like that. It'd be nice to get this done now, but... And I think my estimate was a little off, by the way. If it was a bit closer, that travel time wouldn't be so horrible. And then wintertime's gonna come, so we're not gonna be doing great. Tell you that right now. I will say that the cranes being here is definitely very, very great, very helpful, amazing. I just don't think anything's gonna happen in the wintertime unless the snowplow comes out here. But I know I'm at least 90% sure. I don't think a snowplow is gonna come all the way out here. I saw the road uncovered once or twice during a winter or two, so there is that. Apparently they do make their way out there, which I will admit is very interesting. They must run out of stuff to do over here. I might have overcompensated a little bit, but that's okay. I also know for a fact electronics, everything is supposed to get more and more expensive the more you go. It's supposed to encourage, you building your own, like, instead of importing everything, so I'm aware the clock is ticking. We're still doing good on tourists, which is great. That's a steady stream. Be nice to get more people in there. I think we're maxed out on loyalty, or we're going to be. It's either 65 or 75 with the radio station, and I know that the TV station is supposed to be much better. However, not that many have about half have a TV, so, and besides, we're looking at almost 90% productivity. If they were a little bit happier, we'd be doing great. So we can make do with what we have for now. It's not perfect. Now, if we were to do it in the future, say, I don't know, 5-10 years maybe, if the refinery goes great, and I pay off every single bit of debt I have, and maybe we even start off with some uranium somewhere, we could potentially throw up a TV station, but that would mean like another whole settlement or something, because I mean the radio station itself is like 150, 250 workers. So no, that it's really 300, because there's 3 shifts. So you're talking a new settlement. I would probably just place it on the actual island. The mainland, I suppose. We'll call it the mainland. We're on the island right now. That's the big one. This is what we want. This is where we are. So plenty of things to do. And hopefully the tourism keeps up until wintertime. I really am hoping. Actually, it looks like it's starting to slow down now. We do that advertising research at least once a year, I want to say. About the same time we do the birth rate. I'm not going to say it's exactly the same, like cut and dry, but I would say it's a little bit over 6 months. That research, there's definitely a cooldown, which makes sense. You could abuse it. We're about to have one more thing checked off the list, which is fantastic. We get some more, one of the final clothes exports of the year, I'm pretty sure. Well, we'll have a few more. Higher quality water? Where's your water coming from? It's so fun to trace it. I love it. I feel like a mechanic tracing lines. Let's see. You're coming from you, but oh, because you don't have any water or chemicals, that's why. Okay, fantastic. Are you gonna tell me you don't have? Wait a second. We might as well throw you in there, right? Make sure everything's all covered. We should be okay for right now because, you know, I double dipped. There's some overlap between the big the big water station and the small one, so we should be okay. I make sure to place them smack dab in the middle, or at least as close to like a central position I can to cover everybody here. And there's one or two over here too, but that one's tinier, so it shouldn't matter that much. Damn, we're still going with the population. I didn't expect that. We still got plenty of births. And it's okay, we're going into winter. Usually if it's a we usually lose a few hundred, maybe a couple hundred. People escape, people die, it's winter. So okay, so I'm gonna try this out. We're gonna get some cisterns. I've got a bus coming to the refinery until the train is set up. So we'll do this. Well, we have to wait for them to get there first. No, they're all going to get gas. And how many of these things hold? 16 times, so 50, no. 16, 32, 58. I was gonna say 52. 58 tons. For one trip. Okay, so we're about to have our first real green month in a long time here. This isn't even considering close, because we don't have any. We're about to see what happens. We're gonna see how it closes. Shit. We got us an epidemic. That's no good. I mean, you know what? Without the construction, we might be doing okay. I feel like we definitely needed that. Hopefully it'll start paying itself off here soon. Well, I guess it is now, but you know what I mean. Yeah, we seem to be capping at 65. It really isn't bad. We can manage to get everybody's happiness up. I'm pretty sure it might be the distillery that's doing all that pollution. I'm not actually sure. It might be the distillery. It honestly might. Or it could be the fact that these are overflowing. Who knows? Let's find another one here. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're overflowing. Let's find another. Yeah, no, everything seems alright. I don't know. So, in other words, if I could manage to keep some tourists or get a train, we could basically cover our imports. Because, I mean, look at that. That's 50 grand in a month just from the fucking cisterns. So, if we had a better, more reliable... Well, they are reliable, but I mean, just like quicker and not so there and back. At least, like if you could make one trip, get this all and leave, that would be exceptional. But guess what? That doesn't happen. So, I mean, really, it's not the greatest system. However, we are making it work right now. So, you know, there is that, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. We're still getting set up. So.